We will now move on to Jurgen Weiland from Bonn, classical homeopath, has a clinic in Bonn. He's been specializing last years in trying to come to an systematic understanding of the materia medica with focus on children with behavioral problems. Yeah.
Okay.
Warm welcome, Jürgen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ael. Thank you for being here. It's a wonderful location, wonderful place, and I'm very happy to share my experience with you. What I like to start with, because, first thing is, I hope there's enough coffee, was enough coffee in the break to bring some more excitement to you now. Because treating children for me is really feeling like a gift, it's such a pleasure when we get into the story and when we understand, and especially when we're able to find results. So to start with, we only have 1 hour, and I like to share 2 cases with you, but I want to give you a small introduction to also what I wrote my thesis about, which is called Dynamics in Pediatrics, how to discover or discovering the undoubtedly morbid in children. So first, I also like to start with a little quote by Oscar Wilde. Life is not complex. We are complex. And life is simple, and the simple thing is the right thing. Yeah? So if we take cases, especially with children, I always try to keep it as simple as possible and to see what is a gate, what is a gap, where can I find an entrance. Dinesh was sharing cases this morning where he could send out the mother when the children reach a special age, so it's possible to send the parents out, but we also have smaller children or very insecure children clinging to the mother, and also those cases I like to share with you today. The mother is always present, which is good on one hand and also bad on the other side, because we get pushed with so much information, and we have to settle down and see, okay, what can we actually use to make a prescription? So the question is, what to look for when we treat children cases? Are we using the repertory, which is of course a very good quick stick and something to start with? Do we have rubrics? Or are we embedding provings? We have wonderful provings, and group provings are growing and growing. We have symptoms, of course. We have to find symptoms to make a secure description. Or do we have generalities, or do we have a sensation? The sensation method, yeah, where we have plant sensations, we have opposite sensation, constriction and opening, yeah, where we get to the sensation method. Or do we have something which Berningshausen called it, or the genius, yeah, of a remedy? Do we have keynotes, yeah? Or do we have something according to the system, yeah? So we have different alleys, and that was where we were all presenting last year in London, meeting points. So where are we all coming from, and how do we bring all these different methods together? Do we have red line symptoms, yeah, which Lippe was publishing? So just to go through that quickly, as quick as possible, I like to invite you to Hahnemann's Organon, to aphorism 3. I won't read it all, and you can be sure that what I'm showing you, the cases, PDF files will be available, so you don't have to make notes too much. Focused more on the children when I show cases, show videos, what is the behavior, yeah? Because the children and also the mothers, they speak German, and I guess you won't understand everything. Some might understand the German. So stay and make it as simple as possible. So the first question is to find out what has to be cured, of course. And then we need to see what is curative in our medicines. Yeah? What is the healing aspect in every individual remedy? And then, of course, find out what is the undoubtedly morbid. Yeah? And the undoubtedly morbid is presenting us the striking, singular, uncommon and peculiar signs and symptoms. Something a child does where you feel like, wow, there's this knocking, or there's something obvious we want to jump on. Yeah? Or like Jeremy Sher once said, he termed it as, when we take a case, it's a bit like having a cat nap. Yeah? We just pretend we are having a little sleep or rest, and then there comes something striking and you jump on it. Yeah? Be alert, be awake. So the striking singular. And of course we have different approaches, and there are so many different avenues to choose from. Many different pathways to take. Which LA should we take when we treat children? Is there one LA we should prefer or not? Or what can we do to look out? Of course, provings, relying on pure observation from provings. And there's one thing, this is the one and only photograph we have from Hahnemann. No? He was wearing a little net on his head, and it was just, I think, a few weeks before he died, this photograph. Yeah? So, but he was introducing into homeopathy provings. But what's about children and provings? Brian Kaplan from South Africa, he states in his book, the whole area of treating children in homeopathy is in need of much more attention. The big problem is that all the provings were carried out on adults, so we do not have very good drug pictures for children. The information we do have about children is based on clinical experience. So this is one point we have to consider. Nowadays, in modern times, we have also ethical considerations, because children belonging to a vulnerable group, so we have to be careful. We cannot say, oh, I'm running a proving and only children will be involved. So we need to be careful with that. This is one point. And one big thing, and where I always be happy to rely on, is on clinical observation from Herring, Konstantin Herring in his Guiding Symptoms, 10 volumes. It's filled with fantastic information, clinical information according to children. So this is an important book to rely on. And you see Konstantin Herring, long time ago, he's born 1800 and died 1880. Then we have, of course, Bönninghausen with his modalities generalization, the concept of generalization. So we have modalities, we have generalities, and we have concomitants, which are, in short term explained, modalities is what aggravates and what ameliorates a symptom. Generalization means every modality and sensation experienced in the local part belongs to the whole. It's a bit like we get one single particular symptom, and we look, is that a common thread going through the whole story? The bigger picture. In concomitants are symptoms that arise simultaneously in different parts or peculiar to the patient, and therefore indicates individuality in the case. But this is something you will get also on your PDF, just to see this is how Boga was looking like, Cyrus Maxwell Boga. He calls, or he terms the genius, the strain which runs through every pathogenic symptom complex has been called a genius. To give this its proper place in the prescription should be the ideal of every prescriber. So we always have that in a child. We have a genius of the child, which also was Dinesh mentioning about every autistic child brings common symptoms to autism, but we also have individual signs which run then through, like this is the genius of child XY. So that's what we look for. Or we could call it like the red line symptoms. Yeah? Where is the red line here to follow? Yeah? Keynotes, this is a photograph of Guernsey. He doesn't look so relaxed on this photograph, but it was the time before Facebook and before digital camera, so we can apologize that. Yeah? Guernsey quotes, there is certainly that in every case of illness which preeminently characterizes that case or causes it to differ from every other. So in the remedy to be selected, there is or must be a combination of symptoms, a peculiar combination characteristic or more strikingly keynote. Strike that and all the others are easily touched, attuned or sounded. It's like a piece of music, when you have the key note in it, and then the whole orchestra is playing in the beginning. There's a keynote and then every other instrument is getting tuned by that. So that's Guernsey. Of course we have repertories, all different repertories. We have seen so many different repertories in the history, and now with Mac repertory we get updates, we get additions, but Kent was a very big founder. One important thing I want to mention today about, because I heard it yesterday, it was often termed about when Hillary was talking about the bowel nosodes. What is it more like, is a nosode covering maybe obstacle to cure? Or is it a constitutional remedy? Or this I got so confused about the last years that I have finished this word constitutional remedy at all in my vocabulary. I'm trying to avoid this term, because I tell you why. Weiland, in his booklet, where Weiland categorizes children into different groups, along with some main physical characteristics. Remedies are classified by the descriptions of constitutions, complexions, and tempers. So, and he also termed that the constitutional remedy. But constitution itself, for me, is something that's not telling you anything about disease. It's like a state, or statement we make, but it's not something which has to be cured. It's not in the sense of what Hahnemann called the undoubtedly morbid, or what the striking, whatever. This is not what we call constitution. This is not what we are prescribing for. And also Weiland, he had in this little booklet, he had 32 remedies, constitutional remedies. Paul Herskey, when he published his first book about constitutional treatment of children, we have 8 main remedies and a couple of others. And he said we can cover up, or we can treat more than 80% with these 8 remedies. Which is a statement or something he wrote in his introduction. And for me, I'd just like to invite you to be as unprejudiced, as open as possible if you take a case, and then see, and when we find a good remedy, we can call that, I like to invite you to just call it the chronic remedy. The chronic remedy which helps in depth, and we don't have to call it the constitutional remedy. Just think about it, keep it in mind. So, and since we have the sensation method you heard about for sure, and we have its rules where we have to get to, from the name of the disease to the facts, to the emotions, to the delusions. Then we get behind the delusion level, behind that we might get to the sensation level. Energy observer. These are the 7 stages Rajan Sankaran was writing about. So, and the next step would be the systematic approach to see when it all comes together. yeah, or to see, do we have kingdom information in the case? Yeah? If we look at the case to see, do we find structure themes, or do we find sensitivity like in the plant kingdom? Or do we have survival themes from the animal kingdom? So I would say when I was starting to learn homeopathy many years ago, it was much more difficult to approach remedies, or it was not so common to really look at the substance so much, to see where is this plant growing, or where is this animal living, how is it behaving. That grew and grew and grew, and now, today, we have a beautiful understanding of the system, the different kingdoms of nosodes, and we can. This is so helpful when we understand, like a plant family, and we travel somewhere, let's say to the South African mountains, and we find a plant which looks like, yeah, or which we don't know yet, but it belongs to the pea family, Fabaceae. Then we have already now an idea what that remedy might be good for, because we know something about its relations in the system. And this is extremely helpful to also approach new substances. Yeah? So the systematic approach, this is something to keep in mind. But let's share a case, or the first case, which is here, the case of a boy, 2 years old, and the mother came to me with him. He had not just one fever or febrile seizure and convulsions, he had them on and on and on. And then the moment she came first to the treatment, he was under, he took a lot of diazepam, Valium, yeah? And you will see that in the video, also the way he is moving, the way he's walking, how often he is stumbling. He looks, in the beginning, he looked like drunken. You will see it also in his expression in his eyes. They're not really, he's not making eye contact. Yeah? They look a bit like there's a veil, yeah, in his eye, in his expression. So this was, for me, and this is like a typical situation where this is what I would call the reality of homeopathy, where we have a child with these febrile seizures, convulsions. We have a history during birth or pregnancy. We have maybe birth trauma. In this case, we even have a septic condition, and it all comes together. And then this child took a lot of diazepam, and then we have the question, how can we approach this case? How does it fit all together into one remedy we can see? Is one remedy enough, or do we need a bunch of remedy, or how to approach? This I like to share. So this boy, that was a Wenthouse birth, vacuum extraction. He had an umbilical cord enlacement. There was a neonatal septic condition. There was green amniotic fluid. So we have already keynotes, symptoms, indications to start with. When we look at the video now, I mean, these two cases, they are in total cases of, we could speak about it 3 hours, but in preparation for this conference, I tried to condense it as much as possible to just see, especially because I only saw one woman and also Josef Schmidt, he is of course speaking German, but there are not so many who understand the language. So that's why we can here focus more on the child, yeah, and see how it behaves to get an idea. So let's see what the mother is telling us. So as I decided, or because, I mean, here you have a different name of the boy than you saw on the slides, but I changed it because this part of the video we don't want to be in the published part, yeah? And just see, he comes to the mother and he's falling down already. Yeah? So he stumbles, he's very active, this boy. I mean, this is all information we get. Now we have this green amniotic fluid, we have this story, we have this septic condition where she's talking about now. See, he stumbled again. He's trying to walk, patch, and he's falling down. Yeah? And this happened a lot. You might have missed it now because I don't have a cameraman like we have today in my office, unfortunately. So I just have the video camera behind me, and sometimes my head is in the way. Anyway, so in the beginning he showed some resistance when the septic condition came up. Later he fell into a deep sleep for 3 days. And it's a bit like we get this information from the mother, and it's always, it goes into my ear, and then I see remedies. Okay, he fell into a sleep for 3 days. What is it about opium? What is it about fright? What is it about? No, we have all these keynotes, and they go in, and then we see, oh no, it's not fitting to opium, the whole case, so it goes out. It comes in, turns around, the symptoms, and then it goes out. Till there is something more which makes sense in the whole picture. Yeah? Then we get an entrance point. Now, after 3 days, Sunday morning, that was the first time when he woke up. Now, he's a bit like drunken. Yeah? So he walks like this. And this was the other part I had already in mind. If I'm able to find a good remedy in this case, it needs to be something which can also antidote or do something against this diazepam poisoning, because that's the situation we have to get out from. Now we have to find an entrance door with a remedy that the mother is able to reduce this diazepam, because of course we see lots of side effects. Now watch how the child is getting into touch now with the mother. The first thing is, it's a very happy child. You never see him complaining, or he's never like, she gives us information where he was just shouting, screaming, things like that. But if we observe unprejudiced the child, we see that the child is a happy child. Now, the first time he went into the cradle or the kindergarten, first cold, first seizure. Yeah? So the mother just gives us information how often these cramps had happened, and that there are also some twitches or convulsions even in between the fever stages. So they had to see the neurologist, they had to check him, they made an EEG, they were checking the brain, they thought he might also develop serious epilepsy, so they weren't sure. But it mostly happened during the fever. Now he's doing this again. Mama, the way he's always going back to her, and later she will explain us exactly how he does it. And this is important. We know this rubric in the repertory, clinging to person and furniture. So we have baryta carb, we have stramonium, we have gelsemium, yeah? We have borax. So this is the question, is this really a clinging, or what she says when he gets sick, what he likes to do, or is it something different? Yeah? We try not to judge too early. We try to keep it open. Yeah? The way he's, it's not a clinging, he's rubbing his face against the mother's face, yeah? Tries to get into contact, into touch. And I was thinking, what is this? What is he doing? And she's telling us later what he does when the sickness arises, what he's doing. So there was a situation where he was just crying and shrieking for 45 minutes. Yeah, he was really desperate. And of course you think about stramonium, or yeah, it's very difficult to bring him to bed. He screams a lot, he's completely desperate, and he clings on to me. Now he's kissing, he's happy, he's trying to make eye contact all the time with the mother, but in a gentle way, gentle and also always a bit restless. She's giving us these details now. He stopped crying, he's staying in his bed, yeah? But it's just about seeing what is he doing the way he does it. Now what else is obvious? He doesn't develop, yeah? He stops, or the speech development is completely delayed. Almost no word you can't understand. Less than 10 words, yeah? But he's getting into contact also to me, yeah? So he's in a way open, he's friendly, he's always trying to get into touch to the mother. To contact. Hmm? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now he stumbles a lot, yeah? He's always quick in his moving, yeah? But he stumbles a lot. He's not a slow one who walks slowly through the world. Got that from your mother, huh? Right? She's also quick, yeah? But she said after diazepam, the awkwardness of course, got much more intense. Now she gives us details what happens during the cramps, during the convulsion, eyes rolling upwards, yeah? Foaming at the mouth, twitching of arms and legs. So now, when he stumbles again, but what he does when he gets sick, now she's demonstrating it, exactly what he does. When he's tired or insecure, now he's falling again. No, but he's falling down, but he's getting up, yeah? So when he's insecure, tired or sick, he creeps with his hand into my jumper. Now, especially when he's sick or when the disease is coming up, then we have this dynamic that he wants to creep into the jumper or he wants to creep inside her. He likes olives, he likes to eat lemon even with the skin. Huh? 2-year-old child eats lemon with the skin and he likes sour a lot. Yeah? Oh, something I thought interesting, nice. And generally he's a very happy boy. So this was the case in a small box. What to do? How can we bring it together? We have all this information. Oh my God, where do we start from? Yeah? What I could just see was this special behavior, and what else was present. Let's see. Now we have this. I won't go through. You have seen that all. Yeah, we have all these dramas in the beginning. Just close your eyes. I will skip this. But observation. Now he stumbles a lot. He trips a couple of times. Walks awkwardly and insecure. First cold, first fever. Yeah, recurrent fever with fits. Yeah. So many cramps. Now there is something wrong with the way he looks. His eyes seem to be drawn downward. He screams a lot, he's completely desperate, and he has to cling to me. Now delayed speech development, quick in general and stumbles a lot. Yeah, that we heard. So that we saw what he does during the convulsions, body contact. No? He needs to touch my chest, creeps with his hands into my jumper, and he needs a lot of body contact. He likes olives, lemon, sour. That was all the information I had. He's a very happy boy, an active child with lots of power. He shows a mixture of being weak on one side and being very powerful on the other side. Anything else you could observe? I asked the mother. Yes, before his fits, when he already has a temperature, he's pretending as if everything is super. He's completely hyper and almost in a euphoric mood. And that was for me like also strange. He's like, and from the physical thing, what happens is like he's over excited, he's very active, he's very hyper, and then comes the fit, and it's like a reset, and boof, now he gets his convulsion, he gets the fever, seizure, and then he comes back. Yeah? Something goes too much up, too high, too hyper, and then doof, drops down. And this is something far too exaggerated. He's very restless, runs around, sings and laughs, but everything far too exaggerated. He's constantly in motion. So these are rubrics I was looking after. Convulsions during heat, euphoria, excitement during fever, desire sour, and stumbles when walking. So if we put that together in Mac repertory, we can see here winner by the totality are Belladonna, Ignatia, Sepia, Arsenicum album, Veratrum, etc. And when we go further, we see also stramonium, we have a nightshade in the front, but is this really what matches everything? Was my big question mark. What was my very first prescription? Before I understood deeper in the beginning, I gave one stramonium, which helped a little bit, but the fever seizures, they continued. Because there was a lot of trauma, there was this frightening, clinging, whatever, but stramonium didn't really get us further. And then we have more remedies up here. Yeah? Is there anything you want to throw in already, or you want to say, well, this is clear for me? Any remedy suggestion? Not so clear. Okay, just carry on. There's one rubric which for me was interesting. Yeah? Irritability under mind, excessive, when medicine has produced an oversensitive state and remedies fail to act. Yeah? This was, I was addressing also after I gave the stramonium. I said I want to have something which is also matching this giving too much diazepam, because how to get the entrance. Yeah? And this is a very old addition here. We have aloe, we have carcinosin, we have phosphoric acid, and we have teucrium marum verum. Yeah? Teucrium, which is from the mint family. Yeah? In the mint family, we have this theme of excitement and overexcitement. Yeah? This is a whole family. We have basil, lavender, all these remedies which have a lot to do with excitement and overexcitement. And as I like to, or did so much plant photography in my life, to approach the plants and see what is so special about this family, the Labiatae, there's something special with the relation also to insects. So I will show you here. Patch, he's falling down. It's going in. It's creeping inside. And that makes so much sense for me. Yeah? To suddenly understand and see this topic of the Labiatae family, where the bumblebees, or also the bees, depending on the size of the blossoms, they creep inside. Yeah? For pollinating, the bumblebees, and it's so fantastic in nature, the bumblebees, they are so heavy for these giant pink nettle, that their big bottom is pushing down the blossom, and then the process of pollinating, or the pollen, can be attached. So there was for me this relation. And that was a confirmation also to give, in this case of fever seizures, where we usually think about belladonna, stramonium, all these other typical convulsion remedies, I gave this remedy, teucrium marum verum, which is well known for also polyps, nasal and rectal symptoms are very marked, excitable and oversensitiveness from abuse of medicines and when remedies fail to act. So here at this point, delicate sensitive children, internal tremors, worse excitement, desire to stretch, we could say maybe that was just a good remedy to solve this obstacle to cure, to get rid of this Valium diazepam story. But what happened is this child stopped completely with the whole convulsions. Yeah? We see a little bit, because we're running out of time. I just want to show you that photo I took of a girl where two children, they were standing together, and one of them for sure was Labiatae. Yeah, because there was a balloon landing, and the one child said, "Come, let's go there." And this girl was like, "Wah!" Yeah, really run there and get there, so excited. Yeah, and this is something which makes sense for me with teucrium, is also this, it's too much, it's getting overexcited, and then it might be just like a break of the physical body to just, come on, let's now have a seizure, go down. and then slowly go up again. But that's the problem. Yeah. So this family has this excitement, like an exciting oregano dinner, Italian. Yeah. All these things is in this plant family. Yeah. And the other side is lack of excitability, absence of reaction to external things, numbness, disinterest, which might also be this topic in the beginning where he was resisting, yeah, and then there was a septic fever and then he fell into a completely lack of excitability state. Now we have Agnus Castus in this family. We have so many wonderful remedies. But this is the active side, industrious, motion ameliorates, and so on. Okay. I will browse through this quickly. And the compensation, of course, is calmness, like in lavender. Yeah. If a child is too overexcited, we can also just suggest a warm foot bath with, in lavender water. Come down. So this is a healing aspect. 7 months later here, there were a few times a fever, but I didn't have to give any medication. No more diazepam, nothing. Yeah? They even went to New Zealand for a journey, and he enjoyed it, he was happy, there was no problem. Long journey, no problem. The brother is also commenting, but this was so fantastic. I started with a 30C, and then later on we went up to 201M, and just to see if we can cut this. And it was in the beginning, there were maybe one seizure, and then I was staying with the remedy because she said he's getting calmer, and so I could stay with this remedy, and especially when she said we could give up the diazepam. So just keep in mind this family with the story of excitement, overexcitement, and also to understand deeper, yeah, this topic in the Labiata family, to creep inside. Yeah, this is something which wasn't so known for me before. Yeah, but this is something we can observe in nature as the insects, they have a relationship to the plants and how they interact. And one thing about Teucrium also is it's called cat mint. And what do the cats do? They search this plant and then they rub themselves, yeah, and they get in a completely euphoric, overexciting state. And then sometimes I even watched a video where they roll over and they do silly things just from being in touch to this plant, Teucrium marumberum. Okay, so now we have to jump quickly to the next case. Also this one, because the time is short, you get the PowerPoint, you get the PDF. I just go to the key topics. This boy, chorea minor, after scarlet fever and mononucleosis. So the mother as well gives us lots of information about this child, and we have to pick out what's going on. And in this case, it was, I'm not standing here and telling you this happens all the time. But this child, while the mother was telling me the whole story, was starting to draw. And later on, I looked at both paintings, drawings, and it was incredible what the child did, and you will see how it matches the case. So just observe the child, yeah, with its tics. So that was first interview, January 2014. Mother said it was a completely normal child. Still he had the scarlet fever, and then on top of it, he even got the mononucleosis. And after that, he never recovered, never well since these two diseases. And there was a lot of stress around it. Usually he's a gentle and fit boy, not very obvious when he had the scarlet fever, no rash, which is often a warning sign. When it doesn't come out, it might go inside, might go deeper, might cause troubles. He does See what he's doing, rolling his eye. Now went to the pediatrician and said, there's something wrong with this child. There's something is going on. No one did realize that there was something wrong. Not enough rest. So we get also different information here, yeah? So, and then he started to draw, yeah? Now he does not just rolling with his eyes or this twitching, he's also twitching in his belly, he's making funny sounds, the whole bunch of tic disturbances. Now, usually a great climber, now he's falling a lot. Mother is giving lots of information here. In comparison to before, he's having coordination problems. So something neurological or something is, no, he can't really coordinate. He's not under medication like the child before. Yeah, he had this disease and then he developed these tics. So it's his first painting. You will see it later what he did. Usually we need much more time, but I want to go through it quickly. This is an important part here, because so far, and this is something I also want to give you, these moments where we see the deep aspect of the remedy is either during the crisis, during the fit, whatever, where you get so overexcited in the case number 1. Here, she said, usually he's a very happy, he's a very calm child, everything fine, but since then he had these tics, he also changed his behavior. And what is he doing? Before he had some temper tantrums, but now he changed. He strikes, he's biting. He has to release his aggression. He bites in my shoulder, but not for hurting. He just likes to get rid of the energy, to release the energy. The latest was, he slapped my face. My glasses flew off. So a usually calm child, yeah, or totally normal, suddenly he gets into this behavior. It means the striking things, they're not there all the time. We have to follow it, we have to listen, we have to sharpen the pencil to see it, yeah? To take it, to receive it. And it's interesting what she said. I could see it in his eyes. It made click, and I knew there will be something coming. I could see it in his eyes, patch, and then she got slapped. So I gave him a little clip on his bottom because I don't want him to slap me in the face. But he was, in a way, he was not really recognizing what's going on till eventually he was just crying, and then he suddenly got out of this situation. Yeah, he started to cry, and he wasn't really realizing what just happened. So it's like an energy comes into him, and he reacts. So he carries on. No, he fights for food. He wants to she said he's losing control. Yeah, because the situation he can't cope. So he's fighting. He's not as easy as before. Now he hangs on to her, wants to control what to eat. I control. In my room, I say what is to do. He changed completely his behavior. And then he drew a second picture. But now you can see what he's doing. Yeah? Hangs on the mother, and now he starts smacking her. Of course, we could say he's bored, whatever. Yeah? But he's doing exactly that, what she was talking before. So, and then later on, he got really bored. After his second, he wakes up here once. Can even give us a little... That's enough now, yeah? Okay. So, and then the last picture I got from him was just a sticking bottom. Yeah? He was just turning the other way around, and he just moved his bottom up, yeah? That was the end of the story. This is a real nice bottom, the mother says. So this we skip. Yeah, we got all this information which I just gave you in a quick summary. Now we have these tics, the whole story out of kindergarten. She even had to take him out of the cradle, out of the care. Now he starts changing. He slaps in the face. So chorea minor can happen after scarlatina. It is a very rare, and from the it is very rare, and from the symptom it really looks like it is. Yeah, that's what the mother said. The mother, she's a doctor as well. Now he wants to control. We all saw that. No, he likes vegetables. No, was on a salad. Nothing too spectacular here, except that last photo. He sticks out his bottom. That's all I could see at the end. Okay. So keywords, just a summary. I mean, we had to go through this case quite quickly, but you will get the idea. Now, what are the dynamic changes in the child? Tics, chorea minor after streptococcus infection. Never well since. Post-infectious reaction, worse after scarlet fever and mononucleosis. No obvious reactions, no eruption. Tics, moving his eyes, twitching of shoulders and abdomen, sleeps a lot. Good climber, now he falls, coordination problems. Irritable, striking, biting, releasing aggression, bites in the shoulder, getting rid of energy. Everything wasn't like that before. He slapped me in the face, he wants to control, uncontrollable and control. These were the observation and keywords. So I did a repertorization, but I combined two rubrics, which are here, eyes open, in the chapter eyes, yeah? General close, involuntary, quick succession, yeah? 4 remedies, but I put it together with eyes movement rolling, which are 58 remedies in the rubric. Plus chorea, plus striking as a huge rubric from reference work. And we see there's a collection here. We have a result with up to Veratrum, where we have many remedies in the totality. But what for me was clear here, this is what he showed and how he changed. This is animal behavior. Yeah? Because he's getting aggressive, he starts kicking, biting, all these things. And then we have all this neurological or these tic issues. Yeah, and when we do a repertory in Mac repertory, we can also eliminate and can say show only the remedies which are from the animal kingdom. And we see here we have Bufforana and then 2 spiders, Tarantula, Mygale, Apis, Lycinum, and Oleum animalis. Yeah. So. And while the mother was giving all this information, the boy was quietly drawing pictures. Yeah? And that was for me, the one thing was, there was this letter where the child, she said, yeah, and it goes up there, and then it starts flying. Yeah? So this is a bird, yeah, climbs up here, something is climbing up there, walking there, and then it starts flying. So something about a bird, the first image, which I couldn't really understand. And the second one, I mean, we were just talking, yeah, I was taking the case, and the second drawing was this. Just from out of the blue. He sits there while we were talking, and he draws a spider, yeah, a spider in the net. Yeah, and this I hardly could believe it. Yeah, I was asking the mother, "What is it about relation to spider?" She said, "I have no idea where this comes from." Yeah, and he did that so beautifully. So the remedy I gave was a spider. It was Mygale. Yeah, nothing too fancy. A very powerful, strong remedy from the animal kingdom, spiders. And it's a bird spider. So we have in the first part, we have the bird issue. It's called avicularia. Yeah? But let's see just a minute of the follow-up. Yeah? 4 months later. The mother was outside and he is just drawing. You can't see anything of these tics. Yeah? Eyes completely stable. Completely relaxed. And the mother, that was so great, she said, "This is my child again." Yeah? She said in the follow-up, "This is the child I know from before." Yeah? And it was as if this Mygale energy was due to the scarlet fever and due to the mononucleosis. It was just creeping inside. And then you give the remedy. It's like the different energy from the other song or whatever we call it disappears, and he's getting like he was before, a normal child. Yeah? So she says, I haven't seen this twitching of the shoulders, the eyes, hardly to observe. These things are gone. This is my child again. He's back to his old character, back to the old. This is how I understood Hanuman, yeah, to see what has changed and then come back to your normal constitution, yeah, to be who you are. This is all we need. The aggression is gone. Everything where I was worried about is gone. Completely. Oh, it gives me an explanation of the next drawing. But the touching part was that he did this drawing exactly of the spider. And just to see a little bit about Mygale here, Avicularia. Aves is the kingdom of birds, yeah, the bird spider. Avicularia. Pink toe tarantula. Yeah? Pink toe tarantula, endemic to South America, Costa Rica, Brazil. And here you see why she's called pink toe tarantula. Yeah? The pink toes. And they have different webs. No? It's not like we have a lovely web we can see in the gardens here in the morning, in the dew. They are more in the ground or in the trees, up in the trees, yeah, like the flying aspect, yeah. They do not have webs. Instead, they weave dense, white, tubercular nets between leaves, in the cracks of old tree trunks and on the ground, yeah. So, and this looks a bit like nœud fascia, yeah. If we see this net issue. Okay, I have to stop here. The chief clinical use of this spider poison is in Korea, especially of upper part. This is what Fatak says. Twitching and contraction of facial muscles and head, which is jerked to the right side. Mouth and eyes open in rapid succession. Okay, so these are the keywords which we can also find in the schema of the animals. My last picture for today is one I took yesterday in the morning here at the lake, 6 o'clock. Thanks for listening and have a nice day. Thank you.